Hey guys, what is going on? Scott Razor Robertson has named his Chiefs team to play France in the third and final test in Hamilton. Did I say Chiefs? I meant All Blacks, but boy, it feels like every second man named here is a Mulu man from the Waikato region, and that is okay. I think that's a masterstroke. Why not? I mean, you have Samisoni Taukei'aho there at 2. You have Samipeni Finau at 6. You have Luke Jacobson, the skipper for the Chiefs, at 8. Why not have the hometown brigade come in all fired up and seal this damn series against an understrength French team? You might think there isn't a lot on the line. We have wrapped up the series. Good to get a trophy back at NZR headquarters. We've been leaking a few in recent years. I'm glad that one's come back. I think we need to send the French packing, and we need to send a message. Bring your A-team in the future. With all due respect, I mean, they were great in the first test, but they were definitely wiped out in that first half last week. Look, the French are going to be competitive. They could absolutely steal this one. I mean, that would be the most French thing of all, but we're going to break down this team, and I'm going to give you my prediction for the weekend. But, you know, essentially, I do have to say, I think the French have a bit of egg on their face, not the players so young, so inexperienced, 17 new players in the squad. Not them. They've tried manfully. I just think the whole organization, the coach, you know, who's dealing with, I guess, the scraps that are left after top 14, it just seems like a blunder strategically. I mean, at the moment, the French are just hemorrhaging world ranking points to the All Blacks. The All Blacks are increasing their lead over Ireland at 2. The French are dropping down each week. You can say that you're sending a B or C team. Guess what, guys? You're not playing with monopoly money. You're playing with real money. Those are real ranking points that you are losing each week by not bringing your top team down under. The permutations of that are going to be in effect in the next Rugby World Cup. You got to remember there are more pools now. Okay, it's going to be very important to maintain a high ranking in that top 6. Okay, so there are repercussions, but we'll get into that another time. What we need, though, is a classic foot-on-the-throat All Blacks performance, and I'm looking at the front row, and I like what I see. Samisoni Taukei'aho hasn't quite come back to his best in the black jersey this year, but he gets a start on the home paddock, and I love the fact that Tyrell Lomax is back. He is definitely our first choice number 3. Hasn't been available due to injury. That's a good-looking front row. You know, I mentioned a few weeks back, you know, don't be surprised if we see the old firm of Ethan de Groot and Tyrell Lomax. Well, here they are. They might just remind us of their quality, even with a guy like Tamaiti Williams banging the door down to be the number 1 starter. We want to see de Groot. We want to see Lomax. Kind of put the Tamaiti Williams, the Fletcher Newells to the side, even if just for 1 week. Now, in the middle row, Patrick Tupou is going to suit up. I heard that he got a knee knock. I wasn't sure if he would be available. Thank goodness he is. Because he was just brilliant last week, so industrious. He actually looked refreshed from that time he's had off the paddock since the Blues dropped out, in the semifinals in Super Rugby. Probably had a bit of a recharge there from missing an extra week of Super Rugby. And Fabian Holland has just been the find of the season so far. 100% tackle rate, absolutely seamless in the lineouts. If he can just add a little bit more impact around the field, he's going to grow into an All Black great. He's only 22 now, so I really predict big things for him. More height in the loosies. If you go to 6, Samipeni Finau is definitely a line-out option. He's at home. You need a statement performance from him. Wallace Satiti's going to come back. He might be gunning for that number 6 jersey. Now, the question was, who's going to play at 8 this week? Luke Jacobson has recovered from the head knock. He's in there. I think that's a very abrasive-looking 7-8 combination. I want to see Jacobson absolutely smashing the French on defense. I think there's a good balance here because you do have the athleticism, the ball handling skills, that rangy, roaming quality that Samipeni Finau has. He needs to stamp his mark physically. That's the one thing that's been missing at All Black level. He does a good job winning pill in the line out. He showed some nice hands around the field. He needs to bring some crunch on D and carting the ball up. That's what I want to see with Samipeni Finau. That's the only way that he's going to lock himself down as a first-choice starter in this All Blacks team, especially when Wallace Satiti comes back. Now, again, Chiefs mana, baby, 9 and 10. We knew this was going to happen. Cortez Ratima gets his first start of the year. Beauden Barrett has pulled away from Damian McKenzie. I think that in Scott Robertson's eyes, Beauden Barrett is the man at 10. However, as we've seen from the Springboks, who, I'm a Kiwi, I'm a diehard All Black fan, but they're leading the way in rugby right now. They are number one until we hopefully take that from them, but we'll talk about that in a few weeks. Well, they're leading the way with their depth right now. They are what we should aspire to. And they've got Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu. They've got Mani Lebok. They've got Andre Pollard. Point is, 3 or 4 deep. Okay? You got to keep playing McKenzie. He has to get some games at 10 this year, even if Beauden Barrett is the clear first choice winner. Got to remember, Beauden Barrett's heading into his mid-30s. We do have to keep preparing for life after him, or if there's some kind of injury, knock on wood, something like that. We need that insurance policy. And I am sticking to my guns. I think Damian McKenzie is a very good fly half for the All Blacks. I think he offers a lot creatively. Definitely had a quiet grand final. That did not help his chances of locking down the black number 10 jersey. But he's here on his home patch. I want to see a statement performance from Damian McKenzie. He might never be the game manager that Beauden Barrett is, but I want to see him carving up the line, setting up his outsides, and I just want to see him kicking at the right time. That's what Beauden Barrett has done so well in the series thus far, along with Will Jordan, who's kicked well from fullback. Those grubbered, angled kicks, playing for territory, pinning the French down in the 22. I want to see that kind of option taking from D-Mac at the right time, maybe a short kicking game. That's kind of what I'm hoping to see. We know this guy is a mercurial, effervescent runner. Maybe the best on earth as a 10, as an attacking, running 10. Want to see some smart kicks in there, mixing up his strategy. And I think he kicked well against Ireland and Dublin last year, so I know he's got it in him. Meanwhile, Rieko Ioane continues his renaissance on the left wing. Sevu Reece is back. So those are your 2 wingers there. Going to the midfield, baby. I'm going to say it again. Chiefs mana. My goodness. It's the Chief Blacks. Quinn Tupaia, a returning Anton Leonard-Brown. He could be short of a Gallop. He hasn't had a lot of minutes lately, but Anton Leonard-Brown is one of our most experienced backs. He's got to be there in the Rugby World Cup squad. I know it's a long way off, but I just want to see his experience in there. So he's got to keep getting minutes out there, even if Billy Proctor is the first choice 13 now. So I'm at least liking the fact that even though ALB is short on minutes, well, this is a Chiefs pairing that knows each other pretty well. This is a 12-13 combo that's had a lot of reps. Combine that with 9 and 10. There is just a lot of connective tissue between those players, and that should, hopefully, counteract any rust or lack of minutes that some of these players might have had. My favorite pick is Ruben Love at 15. I just think you had to do it. Sure, it's tempting to run Will Jordan out there again, but we know what we're going to get with Will Jordan. He is, in my humble opinion, the best fullback on earth. He has shown that he's still a try-scoring machine, whether he's at 15 or 14. He's closing in on that Dougie Howlett record. He's got nothing left to prove. We're going to need him against Argentina and the Springboks. He's on the bench here as an insurance policy, ready to get injected into the game. Let's see what Ruben Love can do. Now, the interesting thing, there is no Beauden Barrett on the bench. Okay, so knock on wood, if Damian McKenzie goes down, Ruben Love is going to go into 10. Maybe he's going to go into 10 anyway. Maybe 10 and 15 are going to swap in the last 20 minutes of the game. Stranger things have happened. I would just imagine you're going to see a little bit of a dual playmaker strategy. You're going to see Ruben Love coming into first receiver at times. The All Blacks love to do that with 10 and 15, whether it's Beauden Barrett, whether it's Will Jordan, whoever it is at 15, coming into the line, being that extra set of hands near the ruck. The 10 goes this way, the 15 loops around, goes the other way, back and forth. This has been classic All Black stuff in recent years, going back to Richie Mo'unga and Beauden Barrett. So I expect that policy to continue here, just with different personnel, just with Ruben Love at 15. And, man, he deserves the start. He hasn't had a lot of minutes for the ABs, but he was electrifying for the Canes this year, ready for this kid to take a big step up. I totally believe in him. And, look, it might take a minute to find his footing. I think he's going to do the job on the weekend. I really do. Moving on now, just to finish up with the impact players. Brodie McAllister, you got to play him. If you picked him in the squad, you got to play him. So Cody Taylor gets a rest. Also, George Bauer comes in. Dalton Papali'i, who's been in the squad, probably helped by injuries, to be fair. He wasn't a first-choice pick in the squad for Razor. But got to keep that depth ticking along. So they're going to throw him out there in the second half. And Daltz, is a good player defensively. If the game is tightening up a little bit, if it's becoming a little bit defense-oriented. Look, if the weather from Wellington that never materialized ends up in Hamilton, it's a bit of a rainy, gritty affair, happy for Daltz to be in there hitting the breakdown. And then Duplessis Kirifi, so much star power, so much X factor. Made some errors at home last week. I believe there were 3 penalties at ruck time. The thing that's great about Duplessis Kirifi is his improved discipline. If you look at the stats in Super Rugby, he really tidied up his discipline. So he definitely regressed in the pressure of a test match. I think he needs a cleaner game this week if we're going to see him in the 23 against the likes of South Africa, Argentina, Australia. Noah Hotham comes in, much deserved for a brilliant season with the Crusaders. Very happy to see him out there. And, of course, Timothy Tavatavanawai, who was very good in Wellington, came on early when Jordie Barrett got a head injury assessment, and then he was pulled off when Barrett recovered, but did finish off with a pretty good 20 minutes, high-energy stuff, high impact. He looked pretty winded out there, but he was throwing it all on the line physically. We need another all-action performance from him if he's going to cement his place in the 23. Interestingly, no Jordie Barrett. I kind of thought he might miss the first game, right? Because, look, whatever he says, I'm sure he's somewhat cooked from a very long season. I think it was asking too much for him to play all 3 games. I guess Razor just went the other way from what I was thinking. I thought maybe you rest Jordie at first, then bring him in. Instead, Jordie was out there for the first 2. Now he gets his breather. So overall, I can't fault this. Look, if the unthinkable happens, and let's not manifest this, but, if the All Blacks were to go down, okay, we did secure the series. At very least, blooding in some of these new players, giving everyone a run. But I actually think this is going to be an injection of energy. I don't think these changes will hurt the All Blacks. I think it might actually light a bit of a fire under them. So I am really wanting to see another dominant performance from the ABs. And I think they can do it. I think it's an exciting team. I think if they can get their chemistry and combinations right, they could really put some tries together, play a high-tempo game. But what do you guys think? We're going to slip up now that we got the series sorted, or are we going to go 3-0? I want to know your predictions, maybe even some scoreline predictions. Let's hear it in the comments. Send this video to someone who loves rugby. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll be back to break this game down on the weekend. I'll catch you then. Can't wait. Go the All Blacks. Bye for now.